Buenas, todo el mundo. El grupo del World Cup del Copa Mundial. All right, obviously I know how to speak a little better
I
Spanish.
I think you speak better Spanish than that, man. That would be hilarious if we did the entire show in Spanish
Oh
without
my
Modi here.
God, that would be
Like
awesome.
the one time we
Right,
just
the one time Modi's not here, we do it
let's
all
just do it in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Welcome to our quarterfinal edition of the World Cup weekend
Whatever the hell we're calling this
review,
show.
whatever the hell it is. You know, it's a little World Cup action for you F1 fans. And so we appreciate you checking us out. Look, listen, we had quite a few people actually check it out last week, and since then, there's been a lot of craziness in the world of World Cup action as some of the big name teams I think we probably spoke about were out in group stage, including Belgium and Germany. And then you saw a couple of really fun and exciting round of 16 games, knockout stage games. But then for the most part, Vish, a lot of them just, it was kind of lopsided, right?
Yeah, and I think that all of the let me go ahead and so we don't make fools of ourselves. I do have it open. Let me share it. But I think all the group winners actually,
and of course the U.S. and Spain are out. So I didn't even want to do this show. Whatever. Here we are.
So I think Croatia might be the only second place team that won.
Right. Who won that?
That one, I mean, Japan won their group.
Oh, right.
And then
who won Croatia's group?
Was that Portugal?
I can't remember now.
Or was that was
I think it was Morocco.
Actually. Yeah, I think it was Morocco. Yeah, I think it was Morocco.
Yeah, Morocco.
Yeah, the only second place team that won. So we kind of saw the separation here.
Oh yeah.
And it started with the United States just
yeah. Just when you thought they could get right in it.
I mean, it's chronic.
Yeah.
They get to this round, well, assuming they make the World Cup, and then they don't deliver, and then everyone's like, "Great job! At least you made it this far." And it's like it's going to be the same thing in 4 years if they don't change things.
How old is that getting? Right? Just to hear that, the American team is not the American team, but everybody is okay with them just bowing out here in the knockout stage here. I mean, it's essentially the round of 16.
Yeah, and it's 20 years since they made the quarterfinals, so it's kind of ridiculous.
Nobody remembers that. Basically.
Yeah, but I mean, 20 years on, and now we're saying it's acceptable to go around less than that. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. I mean, it was.
Look, at the end of the day, right? Like the U.S., I don't want to say they were dominating the ball a lot. They did have possession. They looked okay, right? So, but they just didn't capitalize on opportunities they had. They had plenty of those, and Netherlands capitalized on every single opportunity. It seemed like.
Yeah, and a lot of that is the tactics, though. The Netherlands knew where to attack, and after the game, they said we attacked up the wings. They never adjusted. We kept attacking up the wings. You can see all three of the goals were the same thing. They came up the wing, crossed it in, unmarked goal, right? And I'm not saying that the United States is Barcelona from like 10 years ago, but they have the one, basically without any of the positives, they have the one negative, which is holding the ball without like purpose.
Right.
Like they'll pass it around, cycle it through the midfield, cycle it through the defenders without ever creating a scoring chance.
Yeah.
Now, Barcelona used to do that, but they would also create scoring chances. When they got into trouble, it's when they couldn't create those scoring chances and score, which was rare.
Right.
For the U.S., it's always that. That's why they scored 2 goals in the whole group stage. And now here, one more, 3 goals in 4 games. It's because while like you said, holding the ball, it's because it's aimless possession. It's worthless. Right. It's a lot of like, we're going to keep the ball. We're going to play possession, but not really with any. I mean, the goal was a fluke.
I mean, when I saw it in slow motion, I was like, did Haji Wright really just do that? I mean, it was cool, right?
There's no way he did it on purpose. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know, man. I guess considering how they played, but I feel like he kind of did. But I don't think the end goal was to get it in the net.
Yeah, no, he definitely made a play on the ball on purpose. He wasn't trying to flick it with the back heel over, arcing it over the entire defense.
Over the 6'8".
Yeah, that was not intentional. But if you look at that, the only other 2 real scoring chances. One right at the beginning, which was a great ball in, which
Right.
you'd hope to score. And the other one was when, again, with Haji, right, when they made that back pass and passed it to him.
Ah, yes.
Like, and that was really it. So despite holding the ball, like they didn't create
Didn't do it much else.
anything. Yeah.
Had
So
a couple corner kicks, didn't do anything with those.
didn't do anything
Uh,
whole tournament.
bro- I mean, brought in Gio Reyna and didn't do anything with him. I mean, it was just like,
Well, he didn't look match fit, which again, if he was injured, that explains it. If
right,
but if not, the reason he wasn't like in a rhythm is he hadn't played. So it
right.
was just, I mean, it started with the strikers because there are
Yeah, starting with Ferreira, right?
yeah, he
Was
started with Ferreira,
what kind of
but
move was that? Did you like that move?
no, but he shouldn't have been on the squad. I think the problem is like I get what happened here because there was nothing else to do at that point because Sargent was injured, and this is who he brought. And
Right,
Haji Wright was really bad against Iran, really bad. And
right,
so I get why he's like, I got to start the other guy. But the reason he's left in that situation is because he didn't bring Pepe, he didn't bring Prefok, both of who are scoring in Europe this year. So he's left with this.
right.
So I understand why, given the overall context, for had to start, but the reason it got to that is because of him in the first place. So.
Which leads to my next question, right? The question of is Berhalter the future, manager, coach, however you want to call it, for this men's national team, right? A lot of people are saying he's got to go in order for us to get better and to move on and become a better,
It's
better team.
it's time for him to go. Now whether or not that actually happens, I don't know.
Right,
And it's several things in there. Frankly, like he did it. I guess maybe the Netherlands game was a little bit of an exception, but really the first two games he did a great job of setting the team up correctly. Like team played really well, but when the opposing coach made adjustments, he had nothing.
right,
Like the team, his subs were terrible in every game. I guess the difference and the reason why the Netherlands game was so one sided is he got it wrong at the beginning. 10 minutes in, you're down 1-0, and he still was unable to kind of make those necessary changes. So
right,
I mean, we can criticize all that, but also just he's been the coach for 4 years. He's had a cycle. Is he really going to be the coach for 8 years? Is that really what we're saying here? Because usually, like coaches that do more than one cycle, first of all, generally it goes pretty poorly.
right,
And second, the reason that it happens generally, like it's mid progress, they're building somewhere. Like this feels like an ending, and it feels like someone else needs to come in and push it more forward. So I'm hoping he goes. I don't know if he will. Apparently, there's some interest from clubs in Europe, and just from his perspective, he's won the CONCACAF Nations League. He's won the Gold Cup. There is no qualifying
right.
because we're the host.
Because right, you get in automatically.
So is
Right.
what now that apparently the U.S. is going to host Copa America in 2024. So that is
I
something
saw that.
that
Right,
is something new for him. But really, there's not much left for him to do with this team. Is he going to really sit around for 4 years on like friendlies, no qualifying to coach the team in 2026? It sounds like it's probably just from his standpoint, probably time for him to move on as well.
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what
Lots to
happens.
come there.
Um, and I guess we can kind of move on from that. I think the next couple of years are going to be real telling on what this national team does and who they give an opportunity to. So it's I think it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and just to close that off, I think it's the disappointing thing is just how once again showed up at this round and kind of felt overwhelmed by it. Like the Netherlands was so clinical. Like those, and part of that is expectations, in the country itself. Like the Netherlands expects to be here and they expect to win these games, and you could see that confidence in the way they played, the way they took their chances. And the United States felt like they weren't sure they should be here, and they weren't sure they could beat the Netherlands, and that came. You could see the hesitation, you could see the lack of confidence, and especially in the final third, that's where you need the confidence.
Right,
Because if you look at if you I mean, I think the Netherlands probably has more talent, but not significantly so. They have more experienced talent, is probably what showed up. But if you look at the clubs their players are playing on, the ones that the US out, they're
yeah,
very similar, very similar. Some of them are teammates. So I mean, Dest and Depay were like two of Barcelona's best players last year on the same team. So
right.
Depay's out there scoring, and
Jets
Dest
did
is
have a pretty good World Cup.
yeah, he played well.
He played well.
I think we have to change our culture and perspective to say, look, you should need to expect to be. There needs to be expectations that this is a failure.
Right.
If we come out of this congratulating ourselves, we're going to not move forward.
Correct.
So I mean that's what I'd like to see coming out of this.
Oh boy, let's see what happens. Argentina, Australia, pretty much.
Well, it got dicey at the very
Yeah,
end. Like Argentina had
I
control
didn't see it,
almost.
so I'm glad
Okay,
you
so
saw it. Yeah.
well, Argentina had control most of the game, then Australia pulled one back, and then just the last like 5 minutes and like the extra time. I mean, Australia had several chances, one of which was just a ridiculous save. Otherwise, this is going to extra time. But I mean, Argentina controlled most of the game,
Right. Do they
and
look strong? Do they look strong enough to get past a couple? I mean, they're going to be facing. Well, they're facing Netherlands now,
they're
right?
facing the Netherlands now, so that'll definitely be an interesting um, game because very similar to, I mean, Argentina will be able to hold the ball, but the Netherlands seems totally fine with that,
Right.
and they might have that counter attack that they kill the U.S. with open again. But Argentina has Messi, so they're not gonna not create a scoring
That's all
chance.
you actually had to say, you know.
No, I mean, but I mean, it's not just him though. They have players like
Lautaro,
yeah,
right?
they have
Di
several
Maria.
players that can
Yeah.
create chances against a team that's kind of sitting deep, and the United States had nothing.
Right.
So where the United States kind of passed around aimlessly, and then Netherlands are able to pick their spots and counterattack. I think it's going to be tough to do that against Argentina because Argentina will punish them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's going to be a nice matchup to
Hey,
see.
look at see. I told you we should put the hitting the apex label on these streams because then we get people like Jack showing up. So
Atta boy, Jack. What's going on, big dog? Thanks for joining the show, man. Thanks. Thanks for being one of the late night degenerates with us,
yeah,
man. We appreciate
yeah.
it.
As we repeatedly moved the day and time, still found
Yeah,
us. Still
we're
found
still
us.
here.
Still found
We
us.
we appreciate it, man. December 4th was the second round, second group of round of 16. You had France against Poland, and look, I think at this point it was you either give Lewandowski the ball, let him do the best he can, and that was about it. That's the only shot Poland had was for him to kind of go off. And again, this World Cup, he really didn't do anything too crazy. I think he scored maybe one goal this whole entire.
Yeah, I mean this
Uh,
is this is a player that has played at Bayern Munich for most of his
he's known as one of
prime.
the best strikers in the world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but he's playing with Bayern Munich in Germany for most of his prime. He's now playing with Barcelona in
Right,
Spain. This is a man who's used to having a midfield feed him the ball constantly, and Poland just does not have the quality around him. A striker without players around him can only do so much.
right.
Now, that doesn't explain why he took the worst penalty I've ever seen. Got lucky that that goal came on like the last kick of the game when the France made a penalty.
All right.
And then I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but it got saved, and then I guess the keeper left early, so they let him retake it.
God.
But it was yeah. I just think he didn't have confidence. I think frankly, Poland looked gone against Argentina in the previous run, was lucky to get through, but they just didn't show up for that game either, and they kind of continued that here.
What a bad one, man. What a bad one. But hey, look. At the end of the day, though, I mean, France is
Yeah, they're I
they're
mean the defending
potentially
champs
the best
and
team, defending champs. I mean,
uh-oh.
and they're doing it without Benzema as well. So I should have. Oh man, well, we're sorry about
We
that, man.
didn't.
We definitely did not. We definitely did not. But going back to France, I mean, and they're doing it without potentially, the best player in the world right now, right? Ballon
Go,
d'Or
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
We're saying it because we're biased Madridistas, but
No, like
Karim
you said, he's
Benzema,
that the Ballon d'Or is for the
best
best
player in the
player in the
world,
world, and he just won it.
and he just won it. So, they're doing it without him, but that team is just so
We're gonna get
stacked.
to that, Jack.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Unfortunately, that team is just so loaded. Even the guys that come in, I mean, you've got 57-year-old Giroud out there who's still kicking ass. I mean, it's impressive what they're doing. And then they've got the young guys, right? They've got Chouameni, and they've got all the other guys in the back end. So this is a team that is going to be hard to beat just all the way through. They're so stacked.
Yeah, and it feels like, well, I mean, I guess we can good pivot to talk about kind of England and who who that is their next opponent.
Right.
Handled Senegal easily. Frankly, England has looked really strong in every game except the United States one.
Yeah, they have.
They killed Iran, obviously they killed Wales and they killed Senegal. Like these are not competitive games. So
Yep.
this is probably, I mean, if you look at the way the other, so just I mean, you have to scroll down a little bit to see it, but the other half of their bracket is this. You kind of feel like this is the semifinal.
Right, that's what it feels like
Like
for
whoever
sure.
wins this would be pretty surprising if they lost the semi.
Honestly speaking, it's gonna be I'm gonna be sad to see one of these teams bow out, right? Like one of them is gonna. It would be awesome to see because they're playing so damn good, both of them. So, to have them play each other so early on, I guess, kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean that's because of, and we'll get to it. I guess it's the last in our running order here. What happened on the other side of the draw? But
Right.
yeah, no, I mean this feels like the big out of the quarterfinal matchups. This is the big one, and the way England's playing, this is going to be a tight game.
Yeah,
And and
I think so.
and like you said, I think France is. I mean, France did lose a game. Everyone was like thrown in a terrible game at some point.
It's
England
true.
against the U.S. France lost the last game of their group stage. Brazil did as well. Argentina lost their opener, obviously. So no one's kind of like come through totally clean, but yeah, you kind of feel like France is just in such a rhythm. And I mean, I know they don't have Benzema, but they still have Mbappe, and it feels like
I
if
know
it
we're talking
gets
about like. Oh wait, hold on a second. They might have the second best player in the world.
yeah, and it
You
just
know?
it just feels like they're if push comes to shove and it's like a tight game, he'll make the difference more
Oh
so
yeah,
than someone on England.
for
So,
sure.
but that is obviously that's the game to watch. That is the highlight.
Both really strong teams, and they play on what day do they
I
play?
think
Does it
there's
say here?
yeah. Hold on, we can scroll it down.
Here we go.
There you go.
Can you
So
send me that?
they're the last one. So
Okay,
Saturday at 2
Saturday.
p.m.
Nice, nice. Right when I'm doing Christmas shopping, but hey, we'll figure that one out. Don't get me started on Christmas shopping right now. Let's move to that December 5th, round of 16 with Japan and Croatia. Now, Japan, one of the surprise teams who made it to the
Yeah, they
knockout
won
stage.
to won their group.
And they won their group, correct. They won their group facing a tough Croatia team who's in the finals, right? The last World
Yep,
Cup against
they're in the
France. So
finals, and I guess it is a
mm,
warning to us as we're talking about whoever wins the France or England game will probably beat the winner of the other quarterfinals. Weird stuff happens with the World Cup sometimes.
it does. And look, Croatia's still a really good team. That's a really good team. I mean, anchored by El Capitan, another Madridista. But I mean, that was an interesting game. It went into penalty kicks, and look, at the end of the day, what's the goalkeeper's name for Croatia? You'll know him maybe.
I don't off the top of my head. I know it's Lulich or something. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna.
mean, he
Yeah,
obviously stole the show by blocking. I think he saved
he
what the
saved.
first two.
I think he saved the first three.
Maybe it was the first
It was,
three.
it was the first three, but Croatia also had one saved, and
Right.
then yeah, they finished it off. But again, I think that's where Croatia, like you said, been to a final. They when it got to the pressure point at the end there, they were just better able
It's
to
the
cope
old
with it.
cliche, mental fortitude. Their experience. But
It's and
it's PKs. Anybody could have won it at that point.
yeah, but I think they had the confidence to take better quality penalty kicks.
Right.
And the other thing is, they're in this weird situation where they were in the finals last year, but they're still. I will get to Spain in a second. There's still no expectation on Croatia. So a
Right.
lot of times you'll see like the better overall team lose in penalties because like all the pressure is on them.
Right.
And in this case, it wasn't like if Croatia lost, I mean, obviously they'd be upset, but it's not like, oh, Croatia's a failure. They made the
Right.
knockout stage, they made the finals last time, like that's fine. But they also had that experience. They kind of had the right blend of experience without, the oh God, we're gonna blow this type
Right.
of thing, which
And they don't really have a superstar on that team, right? Like
I
I
mean
mean,
they do.
they've got some really good players, but I mean, who's their superstar? Is it Modric? I mean, yeah,
Yes.
okay, but he's already at the back end of his career, is what I'm saying, right?
I
Like
mean, he's
what, 36, 37 years old. So he's getting up there in age. I mean, yes, he's still a superstar per se, but is he your, your guy that just,
Well, I think this is where the challenge
you know
comes
what I
in.
mean? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I think where the age comes is not on the quality side thing. I mean, he's running the midfield for Real Madrid to win the Champions League and La Liga last year. So
Right.
it's more just the way these games are compressed. Like they had to sub him out early. Like he played like 70 minutes, had to take him out. So
Right.
he's not going to be able to play 90 minutes of these games, and that's a challenge
Sure.
for them, right? I think when he's playing, he's got to kind of do his damage early in this game,
Right.
because he's not going to be able to run the full game.
Right. I mean, yes, okay, he is still a superstar, but it's a little bit different when it's, it's a Neymar or an Mbappe, a guy that's just going to sit there and try to score you as many goals. Where, he plays the midfield more. I mean, he still does score, but he's not your nine or your striker or whatnot. But
Well,
yeah,
he's the guy who has to create the goals, and
right,
again, for them, it's got
which
to
is
come
still probably just as important. So I get it.
right. But the challenge they have is he can't go 90 minutes,
Right.
so he's going to have to create them early.
Yeah. Brazil did it without
Ye-
having to use. I mean, well,
No,
obviously,
Neymar was there. He played.
I know he played, but I mean, everybody kind of got involved in this one against Korea.
I mean, that first like whatever 30 minutes, whatever was, or maybe it was 40 minutes, whatever it was for
Yep.
the first 4 goals, was just a clinic.
Didn't Casemiro score?
Um, let's see if I click this, it'll show us. I
Yeah,
believe he did. I know Richarlison had like the headline goal.
right.
Um,
It should say it there on their
the,
stats.
there's Lucas Paqueta. Yeah, this is like the worst interface. It's shocking from FIFA.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, right.
Where is the stupid just like the normal list of goals out?
uh, but go.
uh oh wait, if I click this down arrow, is the rest show? Oh my
Oh,
god.
Neymar did score,
Yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah.
did Vinicius.
Yeah,
Okay,
Vinicius scored first.
okay.
Um
Then Neymar on
uh
the 13th minute,
yeah.
and then Richarlison, and then Paqueta
Yeah, that I mean that first it, and then they
on a
kept
peak. By the way, it was on a penalty for
yeah.
Neymar. So yeah,
And then I mean, so Vinny scored the first goal and created the fourth one on
yeah.
that pass to Paqueta. But at one point it looked like, I mean, they spent the last like 9 minutes of the first half just hitting the goal. Like, I mean, it could have gone. They hit the post. They could have been 6, 7, 8, and then they
Well,
call the dogs off.
they definitely did it because I know at halftime when they were going in, the announcers were like, "Stay tuned because there's going to be a lot more of that in the second half." And then I kind of turned it off. I'll be honest, I was like, "Oh, these guys are going to smoke Korea." And then it ended up that they didn't score in the second half. I was like, "Hey, they probably called everybody off."
Well, like, you called everyone off, and then you also got to start like being like, all right, and he went on a yellow card. We got to sub them. We don't want to get him
Right,
suspended. Like,
right.
there's all of that. You're managing across games.
Now they reset, right? All the yellow cards
Not
reset
yet. After this round.
after the quarterfinals. Gotcha. Okay. Goals are so hard to come by that I actually enjoy it when they get creative. Absolutely, man. I think they're funny. I think they're cool, man. I like it when they get creative and they do stupid stuff. It's the one. It's the one. It feels like it's the one sport that you can score a goal and then celebrate and do something crazy and flashy and not get a penalty for it. You know, but
Yeah,
whatever.
and I think the reason it's become a thing in Spain, for when Vinicius celebrates his goals. So I think I kind of carried over. I don't think anyone actually cares.
Yeah. So speaking of Spain,
Spain. And speaking of pressure getting to you in the
speaking
shootout,
of, look, listen, I knew the minute we went into PKs it was over. It was over, and I think we're 1-4 when it comes to penalty kicks in the World Cup.
yeah,
Um,
it is not.
yeah, it does not look good when we get into PKs. And to be quite honest with you, I mean that game. It was a good game. I think it was a good game all around. It was just kind of a back and forth. Morocco had some opportunities. Spain had an opportunity at the end there with Sarabia, where they say that he could have maybe you know set up someone as opposed to go for it there from that corner. It was a bad angle, but if you look at the replay, he hit the goalpost, and if he bends it a little bit more, it could have gone in. So I mean, I don't blame him for taking the shot there,
It's
especially
a it's
right
a
at the end.
tough ask too. He hadn't
Absolutely.
played and he was brought in to kick penalties allegedly. So I mean, and the ball found him.
Right, right. Which, by the way, 4 years ago, he was one of the starters, if I'm not mistaken, on that team, and he played well. He played well. So I know it's different. 4 years later, it's a little bit different. But
But it is the third World Cup in a row where you know,
yeah, well,
and I mean one of the, and I don't know that he should have been brought here, but one of the controversies was leaving Sergio Ramos off. And one thing he does very well is kick penalty kicks. And they were kind of looking at, he did leave off. We're gonna let our Madrid biases come through here a little bit. Several of the Madrid players that have performed well in these situations in the past, including
who
like
were the only
Lucas.
Madrid players on the team? Rodri, right?
Uh,
Was it
the only Madrid. I mean, it was Carvajal.
Carvajal, right?
Is that it?
What
Asensio.
Asensio? What about Rodrigo? Was
Rodrigo's
Rodrigo?
Brazilian, man.
Oh, you're right. You're right. No, well, there's a
There's
Rodrigo
a Rodrigo with an I.
with an I. Right. With an
Rodrigo
I.
with a Y is the
Is the
Madrid one.
Brazilian the one that
Yeah,
plays in Madrid? You're right. You're right.
yeah. So yeah, no. So, but Lucas Vasquez has scored in a penalty shootout in the Champions League final. Ramos has I think he is one of the top penalty takers of all time, and it's just I don't know that it would have
Yeah,
mattered, but what he had available. And again, you don't put a squad together thinking, what if I have to take a penalty shot? That's not the way to build a squad. But
right.
the people that Carlos Soler, he's moved to PSG now, but he was Valencia's free kick and penalty taker for years. Never had a problem. Took a horrible penalty. So I don't know what exactly happened there. Just got to them, and obviously the keeper. For those that aren't familiar with Morocco's keeper, Bono he's a La Liga keeper. He's been there for years. He knows all the players on Spain. He knows, for the ones, and maybe it hurts that Soler had been taking penalties because Bono's probably studied him, knows how he takes them. But yeah, that was
Bono's
really.
with Valencia.
Is he with Valencia still?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he's with
Probably.
Valencia. I thought it was Sevilla.
Maybe it is Sevilla.
Wow. If I Google Bono, I'm definitely going to get YouTube hits, but
Yeah, yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. But just kind of looking back, yeah. Look,
yeah, it's Sevilla.
Sevilla. Okay.
Which keep in mind, this is a goalkeeper, not just a Spanish experience, but Sevilla has won the Europa League multiple times. As a person who's played in big games and has saved quite a few penalties for Sevilla, and it's the Spain players know that too.
Right.
And it might have also impacted some of their.
Well, you saw them, right? They were kind of, hugging it out, and Unai Simon and him were kind of shooting the breeze and laughing and stuff right before, and so yeah, they know each other, and I think that definitely plays into.
Well, it definitely allows him to be comfortable against the Spanish kickers, and also. Right. They might have gotten their head a little bit knowing that he's good at saving penalties. I got to be perfect. I got to fool him. And frankly, the best thing you can do is
They look so lazy, though.
That's what I'm saying. When you try to get cute with it because you overthink it, just kick it hard into a corner. Pick a corner. Don't even worry about the goalkeeper is the best way to do it. But they were trying to I guess get him to dive the wrong way. When you do those little low to the ground pass ones that barely move to the side of the keepers because you think you're going to deke him the wrong way and just pass into the net. It didn't happen here. They didn't make a penalty.
No, not one. All three got saved.
Yeah, all three. Yep.
I mean, and they were lazy and they were ugly. I mean, the first one, Sarabia hit the goalpost, right? Was it Sarabia? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Hit the goalpost, and it ricocheted back. Terrible shot there. They just looked defeated already at that point. I don't know if you saw that too, but they just looked like, after the first one, you see Luis Enrique's face, and he's like, "Oh, here we go again." You know what I mean? And then you got the Moroccans that just go in there, and obviously Hakimi. But by the way, born and raised in Madrid, Spain. Thank you very
he's
much,
a Real Madrid
Hakimi.
Academy player.
That's right. But I get it. Playing for. I
well,
guess,
no, we sold him.
I'm talking about playing for Morocco.
Yeah, I mean that's where his ancestors are from. He was
right.
always gonna do that. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, even France has Lucas Hernandez playing for them, and his brother is I didn't make this squad, but he plays for the Spanish team. It's
right.
And they're brothers. Same thing we saw with
Laporte. I met Laporte is French also. So
yeah.
you know.
No, but
But
what I'm saying is Nico Williams plays for
Nico
Spain. His
Williams, right,
brother played for Ghana here,
right,
Iñaki. So
yeah, it is what it is. I think
it's complicated. It's
and
complicated.
Bolo or whatever his name is from Switzerland. Um, he's another one that played. I think from Cameroon, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and he made the winning goal when they played Cameroon in the group stage. So yeah, it happens a lot. I get it, but it hurts. It hurts. Morocco played well. They deserve to win. They deserve to win that match, and they they made their PKs, plain and simple. They made their PK. I mean, I think they got one saved actually. I think Unai Simon was able to
Yeah.
save one, if
Yeah, he
I'm not
was.
mistaken.
He
But
was because it was after they made two and two had been saved, and he saved it. All right, Spain can get back into this, and the third one too got saved. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
yeah,
And then they
yeah.
just ended it there.
At that point, that was it.
Yeah.
It was over. So, um, so long to La Roja, and it's Morocco playing Portugal, which absolutely. Speaking of Switzerland, uh, I
This
mean,
is
just
probably the one. I know
yeah.
Spain is
Oh, and this is
the
big a little controversy in this one as
yeah,
well
because
because,
Ronaldo did not
Ronaldo did
start.
not start, and the guy who started, Gonzalo, what was his last name? Gonzalo Ramos, I think it was.
Yeah.
Gonzalo Ramos scored a hat trick, and he was the one that started for Ronaldo.
Yeah, and I
So,
think, I think several things go into that, but I think one of them is the same thing we're talking about with Modric.
yeah,
Ronaldo can't play 120 minutes. These are
no,
knockout stage games. So I think part of the thinking is I want him at the end of the game
right. It's a
versus
ballsy move. It's a ballsy move either way, I think, at,
it
at,
is. It's
at that
definitely a
point.
ballsy move. I
Yeah,
just think it makes sense if you're thinking about, you know, if we're up late, I don't want him on the field anyway. He's not going to defend. If we're down late, I want him out there fresh.
right,
So do I really want him in minute 1 if I know that means he won't be fresh in minute 80?
right.
No.
Yeah,
And I think they're playing that long game. Certainly if you get to a shootout, you want him taking a penalty, right? So I think that's playing a lot. I would expect him to not start again. I think that's playing a lot into it, though.
I think it's the right move. It's the right move. And look,
Yeah, and it's almost the
this is a
opposite.
strong Portuguese team too. It's not like they're
Yeah.
not good and this is a surprise. No, this is a good. This
I
is
mean,
good.
I would say the margin definitely
Yeah.
surprised me. Switzerland's
Well,
also
yeah, sure,
a
sure.
quality team. I did not
Yeah,
see this coming. This thing just went. It's one
that's
of those
true.
things. We've seen that multiple times this tournament. Right? We saw Spain scored all of their goals in one game,
Yeah, yeah, they
right?
did.
But I mean, we once it starts going, like it's shocking how quickly the bottom will just fall out of this. I did not see a 6-goal outburst coming here, and none of them from Ronaldo too.
By the way, we made an error. I just realized it that Spain won the group with Japan won the group with Spain in it. I think we were talking about Croatia or something like that.
Croatia's the only second place team.
Only second place team. I don't
Yeah,
remember. I think it was Morocco who won that one, right?
yeah,
Oh, we did
yeah,
say that. You're right.
yeah. We
You're right.
did.
We
We
did say
were
that. You're right.
we were good there.
Yep. So now it's Morocco and Portugal, and I
Yep.
think
So
this is going to be a good one. I think Morocco can give them a run for their money. So here's the schedule as it plays out starting tomorrow.
yep.
You've got a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock game. So you've got Croatia and Brazil at 10 a.m. Which look, I like what Croatia's doing, but it's going to be hard for for Brazil not to
Yeah, I mean
go away with
that
a win on this one,
expectation is Brazil would win that.
right? I think the better match is actually going to be the second one, the 2 p.m. game,
Yeah,
which is the
definitely.
Netherlands and Argentina. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Then you've got December 10th, which is Saturday. 10 a.m. Match I think is going to be great, but I don't think anything beats that 2 p.m. matchup between England and
Yeah,
France.
no, that is definitely the big one.
That's the one, the three lions against the one lion. I guess I don't know what France is, but yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. I got to figure out a way to watch that regardless. So um, that's gonna be nice. Do you want to show before we get out of here? Do you want to show how absolutely properly busted our brackets are?
So I do have it open. That's what the other
Uh,
tab is. So we could definitely go there. One thing I would just point out real quick is so each one of these games has a country with a PSG player as their best player.
wow, it's crazy.
Neymar,
Oh,
Messi,
I see.
Hakimi, Mbappe.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's
And
crazy.
you know what? Knock
And
them out
that
of the Champions League again.
and by the way, I mean, well, I'll tell you who I'm going for at the end.
Yeah, we'll maybe
At
we'll
this
close
at
with
this
that.
point, I have to change my allegiance.
We'll close with some new predictions because ours are ass anyway. But and
Yeah.
then we'll talk about who we actually wanted. So this is Moni's.
There's a logic to my thing, but anyways, go ahead.
So this
All
is
right,
this is Moni's. So she had Argentina versus
Germany.
Germany. Nope.
Nope.
Spain, France. Is this? Oh, okay. So her quarterfinal was actually Argentina, US, Germany. So she had Germany and Argentina going to the semis, so she could still get one team there, and then France and Spain going to the semis, so she could still get one team there. And then she had Argentina, France could still happen.
Yeah, I could.
So that's still in play. Yours is not.
Nothing is in play on mine.
You still got England.
I still got England.
So you can get England. It's like this is just like the NCAA tournament. I can get points out of one of these teams, even though I can't win it. Yes, you still got England. The rest is kind of blown up. I
let my fandom get the best of me, you know.
I mean, that Denmark pick is probably still the worst one.
Yeah,
they finished last in the group, but I had them all the way to the semis. Whew.
Wow,
that might be the worst pick out of the whole group, but I could.
This could still happen too, right?
I could still get Brazil, France. Yeah, but the rest of these are pretty bad. I got Belgium.
So you and Moni could still get a champion out of it. I can't.
Yeah, you can get a finalist.
I can get a finalist.
I mean, this is bad, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to
be. So no, it's all right. It's fun. It was fun.
Yeah, we still got some games we can win here. All right, let's take a look.
All right, so obviously it's Brazil for you, right? Right, Vish. Right at this point, you're a little. England is the only team. What did he say?
That hasn't received a yellow card.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what? You and Vish are obscure knowledge things, man, for sure, man. I love it's cool though. It's cool. I love it. I love it. I love that little piece of trivia there. All right, so at this point, your team is still, your second.
Yeah,
still there.
I have one of my best friends is Brazilian, so he cheers for the U.S. too. We cheer, and unfortunately, we never deliver, but
it's all right. It's all right.
But we cheer for each other's teams. So yeah, when the U.S. inevitably gets eliminated, I switch over to Brazil.
All right, and then Moni still has Argentina, right? She's still. That's like.
Is she actually an Argentina? Like I don't.
I think. Well, she obviously likes. Mexico,
she hates Brazil. That much I know.
She hates Brazil.
She hates Brazil.
She hates England. She hates England.
Oh yeah, beat the Brits, guys.
So
I think in my ears from like 2 weeks ago.
I wish she was still here, but she was on the show. But I think at this point she kind of likes Argentina, which. Yeah. All right, so this is my logic for who I'm going to kind of root for at this point. Okay. It goes into the ancestry.com logic. This is where I'm going.
Wow.
This is where I am at this point in my life. Okay. So ancestry.com obviously has me like I'm like 50% Spanish, right? So obviously that's where my that and some family that I have that's from Spain.
Okay.
But this is where it kind of gets a little murky, right? Because I've got, a couple of other ones, and I'm actually gonna pull it up because I think this is important for everybody to know.
You're going to do drop of blood rules here? What's going to happen?
You damn right. Yeah, damn right. Here are where is it? My DNA story. Here it is. So, this is where I got to go with the Fighting Gonzalo Ramoses now because I am
So some of your family crossed the border is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Just all they did was jump the line. Yeah, all they did was jump the line. So I'm gonna have to go with Portugal now. I guess Portugal's my team now.
You're sticking with the Iberian Peninsula.
I'm sticking with it over there. So I'm sticking with the Canary Islands and all my peoples over there on that side of the world. I got to stick with the Portuguese on that side, not the Brazilian Portuguese, the Portuguese. Okay, so. And hey, I mean, anything is possible, right?
So I will just point out that Brazil has so much Madrid DNA running through it right now that
they're more like
they're
like Real Madrid Junior.
They have. I mean, if you count like players that have.
Casemiro
technically is a Man U player, but he's still
right.
If you count him, same thing with Danilo. He came through Madrid, won the Champions League there, and then obviously Militao, Vinicius are active players.
That's right,
and Rodrigo as well. So they're they're heavy on the.
See, now you're making me second guess I guess what I should be doing is go with my Madridistas,
I
right?
mean, 20-something% is not insignificant, though.
It's
I
not
feel like
28%, man. It's almost
I will
30,
say, like, if their rosters were reversed and all the Brazilians went to Argentina, I'd still be cheering for Brazil. Like, that's my friend's team. I've
Yeah,
been
it's your
cheering for him
friends.
since I've known him. So
Right,
like,
right.
so you don't do that. I'm just it's a happy accident that I'm like, hey, I also like all these players. They're all on my team.
I don't think Portugal doesn't have a.
I mean, Ronaldo. If we're counting Casemiro, then Ronaldo
True, we
certainly,
gotta
and
count.
Pepe too in center
That's
back.
right. That's right. That's
Old
right.
Warriors still out
Okay,
there kicking.
okay. The
So
old Warriors
yeah,
are, the
yeah,
old Madridistas are
yeah.
still there. So
Pepe's still like starting out there. That
yeah,
man's like 39 or
I
something.
know, and he's the
Unbelievable.
captain. He's still the captain of that team.
Well,
That's
he is
awesome.
when Ronaldo's not starting.
True,
He
true.
handed him the armband. So,
Good for him. Good for him. So let's go Portugal.
by the way, Jack, you can take this up with Moni because
Yeah, yeah. You better take it
that
over
is
there.
not our doing.
You can direct message her ass and let her know she's the one slacking. So,
Yes,
um, all right. So after tomorrow and Saturday, we've got
we will have the semifinals.
the semis
Jared.
starting the 13th, which is on a Wednesday. If I'm not, no, it's on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday and Wednesday of next week are the semis. Then the third place game is on Saturday, and the finals on Sunday.
Sunday.
Everything after. Wow, the third place game's at 10 a.m. I wonder why. Oh, the final is too. Dang.
Wow. Well, remember, it's like 8 o'clock over there or something.
Yeah, I just assumed the 2 o'clock slot here was their prime slot. Because what's the time difference?
That's 10. That's 10 p.m. over there, if I'm not mistaken. 9 or 10. That's late.
I guess
There's like a 9-hour difference, I think.
time difference.
We're on the same time zone, so yeah. It'll be the same time.
Yeah, it's an 8-hour difference.
8 hour? Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 6 p.m. for these and 10 p.m.
Okay, fair enough. That's why. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. We'll see you guys sometime next week. I'm not sure what day yet, but we'll definitely see you guys next week, and we'll.
Well, actually, Jack, Jack asked the question. Why don't we go and end with this? He asked whether we saw any upsets. Why don't we just do, given our brackets are dead?
Okay.
Anyway, why don't we do some predictions here to close out?
All right, let's do predictions. Go ahead. You can start, Vish. Go ahead.
All right. I'll agree. I'll go with him. So I'll go Brazil, Netherlands. Oof, this one, Morocco, Portugal is tough.
It's a tough one, man. It is.
I'll go Morocco and France.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I like Brazil, and I don't like Argentina, but I'm gonna pick Argentina, so that way the rivals can bash each other's brains in a little bit. So we'll go Brazil and Argentina, and then on the other side we'll go Portugal. And here's my upset. I'll go England beats France.
Interesting.
I gotta keep them in the tournament. They're like my.
That's all you got. That's all you got now. I mean,
So
that could definitely happen. Like outside of
Yeah.
like outside the U.S. game, they've been the best team. Like they've been so dominant.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to Portugal, England. What an interesting
right.
World Cup it's been. It'll be fun. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, if it is Brazil, Argentina, we might have to get on before that to talk about how they're going to kick the crap out of each other.
That would be fun. That would be fun to watch for sure. And we'll definitely have to watch that one somewhere.
Yep. Well, I'm
here.
So.
Yeah, you're watching it over there. That's for sure. Thanks for watching. This
we'll be back next week at some point before the final.
Yeah, we definitely will. So we'll keep you guys locked in. Thanks for joining us here in this World Cup edition of the no team with yellow cards has made the semifinal. Thanks, Jack. We appreciate it.
But does that mean if they get a yellow card in the game, they're good? What is the?
What does that even mean? Yeah.
Where do they cut that? So someone just goes and kicks Mbappe to get the mojo right. That's good.
Oh man, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.